Hello, my name is Sofia. I am 26 years old and I live in Madrid, Spain. I work as a marketing assistant at a tourism company. I love traveling, trying new foods, and playing with my dog, Max. Max is a golden retriever who is always happy to see me when I come home. I am a positive person who enjoys challenges and meeting new people. Today, I want to tell you about something amazing that happened to me. How I learned to speak English in just 6 months. 6 months ago, my English was very poor. I only knew a few basic words like hello, goodbye, please, and thank you. I studied English in school many years ago, but I forgot most of it because I never used it. I could understand a few simple words when I heard them, but I could not make sentences or have conversations. This was a big problem for me because I worked in tourism, and many of our clients were from England, the United States, and other English-speaking countries. Whenever English-speaking tourists came to our office, I had to ask my colleague Elena to help me. Elena spoke English very well because she had studied in London for a year. She was always kind and helped me, but I felt embarrassed that I couldn't help our clients myself. My boss, Mr. Garcia, was patient with me, but I knew he wanted all employees to speak at least basic English. One day in January, Mr. Garcia called a meeting with all the staff. There were 10 of us sitting around the conference table in our small office. The walls were covered with beautiful travel posters showing beaches, mountains, and famous cities around the world. Mr. Garcia looked serious as he began to speak. "I have important news," he said. "Our company is growing, and we have a new opportunity. Next summer, we will work with a big travel agency from the United States. They will send many American tourists to Madrid, and we will be their local tourism partner." Everyone looked excited about this news. More tourists meant more business, and maybe higher salaries for all of us. But then Mr. Garcia continued. "This means that by July, all staff members must be able to speak English well enough to help English-speaking clients. Anyone who cannot speak English by then will be moved to our back office, where they won't interact with clients." My heart started beating faster. July was only 6 months away. How could I learn English in such a short time? I looked around the room and saw that some of my colleagues looked worried too. After the meeting, Elena came to my desk. "Don't worry, Sofia," she said. "You can learn English in 6 months if you work hard. I will help you find resources." I appreciated her support, but I still felt overwhelmed. That evening, I went home feeling stressed. I told my roommate, Lucia, about my situation while we were eating dinner in our small kitchen. "I don't know what to do," I said. "I love my job, and I don't want to work in the back office. But how can I learn English in just 6 months?" Lucia listened carefully. She was a university student studying languages, so she understood my problem. "I have an idea," she said. "My English professor, Dr. Martinez, gives private lessons. He has a special method that helps people learn quickly. You should talk to him." The next day was Saturday. I called Dr. Martinez and explained my situation. He agreed to meet me at a cafe near my apartment. Dr. Martinez was not what I expected. I thought he would be an old, serious professor with glasses and formal clothes. Instead, he was a young man, maybe 35 years old, with a friendly smile and casual clothes. He wore jeans and a blue sweater, and he greeted me warmly when I arrived at the cafe. "So, Sofia," he said after we ordered coffee, "you need to learn English in 6 months for your job. It's challenging, but definitely possible. I've helped many people in similar situations. I was surprised by his confidence. Really? But my English is so bad, I can barely say a few words. Dr. Martinez smiled. Everyone starts somewhere. The key is having the right method and strong motivation. From what you've told me, you definitely have the motivation. He explained his teaching approach. Traditional language classes move too slowly, he said. They spend weeks on grammar rules before you start speaking. My method is different. We start speaking from day one, even if you make mistakes. We focus on the most common words and phrases first, the ones you'll actually use at work. His approach made sense to me. How often would we need to meet? I asked. Twice a week for lessons, he replied. But the real work happens between our meetings. You need to practice every single day, no exceptions. Language learning is like exercise. Doing it once a week isn't enough. You need daily practice to see results. I agreed to start lessons with Dr. Martinez the following week. He gave me homework before our first official lesson. Download an English learning app and spend at least 15 minutes on it every day. I downloaded the app that evening and started right away. The app taught basic greetings and simple travel vocabulary. I practiced saying words like airport, hotel, restaurant, and ticket. My first real lesson with Dr. Martinez was the following Tuesday after work. We met at a quiet library near my office. He brought flashcards, a notebook, and some tourism brochures in English. Today we'll focus on greetings and basic tourism questions, he said. These are phrases you'll use every day at work. We practiced simple conversations. Hello? How can I help you? I'd like information about Madrid tours. How much does the city tour cost? The tour starts at 10 a.m. After an hour, my head was spinning with new words, but I felt excited. This was practical English I could actually use at work. Dr. Martinez gave me more homework. Practice with the app, listen to a simple English podcast for beginners, and review our conversation phrases for 20 minutes each day. The next day at work, I told Elena about my lessons. That sounds like a good start, she said. Would you like to practice with me during lunch breaks? We could speak English for 15 minutes each day. I was grateful for her offer and immediately accepted. Our first practice lunch was awkward. I struggled to form simple sentences and kept switching back to Spanish. But Elena was patient and encouraged me to continue. By the end of the first week, I had established a daily English routine. 20 minutes with the app in the morning, 15 minutes speaking with Elena during lunch, and 30 minutes of homework in the evening. It was challenging to find time, but I reminded myself what was at stake, my position at the company. 2 weeks into my English journey, Dr. Martinez introduced a new element to our lessons. Today, we're going to start a daily journal in English, he said. Each day, write 3 to 5 simple sentences about your day. Don't worry about perfect grammar. Just practice expressing yourself. I started my journal that evening. Today I worked at the office. I helped Spanish tourists. I practiced English with Elena. I ate sandwich for lunch. I am tired now. The sentences were basic, but it felt good to express my thoughts in English. By the end of the first month, I could handle very simple conversations. I knew greetings, numbers, days of the week, and basic tourism vocabulary. I still made many mistakes, but Dr. Martinez always said, "Mistakes are good. They show you're trying new things." One day in February, something unexpected happened at work. An American couple walked into our office while Elena was at lunch. I was the only person at the front desk. The woman approached me with a map in her hand. "Excuse me," she said. "Can you recommend a good restaurant near here?" My heart started racing. This was my first real English conversation with a tourist. I took a deep breath and remembered my lessons. "Yes," I replied slowly. "There is a good restaurant 2 blocks from here." I pointed in the direction. "It has traditional Spanish food. It is called Casa Maria." The woman smiled. "Thank you. Is it expensive?" I understood her question. "No, it is not expensive," I answered. "It is, how do you say, reasonable price." The couple thanked me and left. I felt so proud. I had just had my first real English conversation with actual tourists. I couldn't wait to tell Dr. Martinez and Elena about this small victory. When I told Dr. Martinez during our next lesson, he was delighted. "This is exactly why we focus on practical vocabulary first," he said. "Now you've seen that you can use English in real situations. How did it feel?" I was nervous, I admitted, but also excited. When they understood me, it felt amazing. "That feeling of success is important," he explained. "It motivates you to keep learning." As February turned to March, my English routine became more intense. Dr. Martinez increased my homework, and I started watching simple English videos on YouTube. I found a channel where a teacher explained basic English using slow, clear speech. I watched one video every evening before bed. My daily routine now looked like this: 20 minutes with the app in the morning, English practice with Elena during lunch, 30 minutes of YouTube videos in the evening, plus journaling and homework from Dr. Martinez. It was exhausting, but I could feel myself improving. By mid-March, I had a new challenge. Dr. Martinez said it was time to practice with more native speakers, not just him and Elena. "There's an international language exchange at Café Global every Thursday evening," he told me. "People meet to practice different languages. You should go." The idea terrified me. Talking with strangers in English? I wasn't sure I was ready, but Dr. Martinez insisted it was a necessary step. That Thursday, I nervously walked into Café Global. The place was buzzing with conversation in many languages. People sat in small groups at tables, talking and laughing. I almost turned around and left, but then I saw a sign. "New members welcome. Join any table." I approached a table where 3 people were sitting: a Spanish man about my age, an older English woman, and a young American man. "Hello," I said nervously. "Can I join you?" "I am learning English." They welcomed me warmly. The English woman, Margaret, was retired and living in Madrid to learn Spanish. The American Tom was teaching English at a local school. The Spanish man, Carlos, was like me, trying to improve his English for work. For the next 2 hours, we talked in both English and Spanish, helping each other with words and phrases. My English wasn't the worst in the group. Carlos struggled more than I did, which gave me confidence. When I didn't know a word, I tried to explain it in simpler terms, which was good practice. By the end of the evening, I had made 3 new friends and gained more confidence in my speaking abilities. I decided to make the language exchange a regular part of my routine. April arrived, marking 3 months of intensive English learning. I could now have basic conversations about tourism, give simple directions, and describe Madrid's attractions in English. My vocabulary was growing rapidly, and I was becoming more comfortable with common phrases. Dr. Martinez was pleased with my progress, but said it was time to improve my listening skills. "Understanding different accents is crucial in tourism," he explained. "You'll meet people from Australia, Scotland, Canada, all with different ways of speaking English. He introduced me to various English podcasts and videos featuring different accents. At first, I found it extremely difficult. A Scottish accent sounded completely different from the American English I was used to hearing. But with practice, I began to tune my ear to the variations. One day in mid-April, Mr. Garcia, my boss, stopped by my desk. "Sofia, I heard from Elena that you're working hard on your English," he said. "We have a small group of British tourists coming next week for a special Madrid tour. Would you like to assist our guide? It would be good practice for you." This was both exciting and frightening, a real test of my skills. "Yes, I would like to try," I answered, trying to hide my nervousness. The following week, I met the British group, two couples in their 50s who were visiting Madrid for the first time. Our company's tour guide, Pablo, would lead the tour in English, and I would assist with additional information and help if any problems arose. As we walked through Madrid's historic center, I listened carefully to Pablo's explanations in English. When the tourists asked questions, I sometimes understood immediately, and other times, I had to ask them to repeat. One woman spoke very quickly, which was challenging, but the others were easier to understand. During the lunch break, one of the men asked me, "How long have you been speaking English?" I thought about how to answer. "I started learning 6 months ago," I replied. "I am still learning, but I practice every day." They looked surprised. "Only 6 months? That's impressive," one woman said. "Your English is quite good for such a short time." Their encouragement meant so much to me. Maybe I really could reach my goal by July. May arrived, and with only 2 months left before my deadline, I decided to increase my efforts even more. I told my friends and family that I needed to focus on English, and I reduced my social activities. Every free moment was dedicated to learning. Listening to English radio while cleaning my apartment, changing my phone language to English, even talking to myself in English while cooking. Dr. Martinez gave me more challenging materials now. We started working with actual tourism brochures and websites in English. I practiced explaining Madrid's famous attractions, the Prado Museum, the Royal Palace, Retiro Park. I learned vocabulary related to art, history, and architecture, words I would need when talking about these places. One exercise was particularly helpful. Dr. Martinez recorded me giving a short tour in English, then we listened to it together and corrected my mistakes. Hearing my own voice speaking English was strange, but useful. I could hear my accent and grammar errors more clearly. In late May, I experienced another breakthrough moment. An American family came to our office looking for information about day trips from Madrid. Elena was busy with other clients, so I helped them. We had a 15-minute conversation about different options: Toledo, Segovia, and Avila. I explained the differences between the tours, the prices, and what they would see at each location. There were moments when I didn't know a specific word, but I found ways to explain things using the words I knew. The family understood me and eventually booked a tour to Toledo. After they left, I realized something amazing. I had just had a real, substantial conversation in English. Not just basic directions or simple questions, but a detailed discussion about tour options. I felt a surge of pride and confidence. That evening, I wrote in my English journal, "Today, I helped American family choose tour. I spoke English for 15 minutes. They understood me. I understood them. I am proud of myself." As June began, with only 1 month left before my deadline, Dr. Martinez adjusted our approach again. "You've made incredible progress. he told me. Now we need to focus on specific work situations you might face. We started doing extensive role plays of different scenarios, dealing with lost reservations, handling complaints, explaining payment issues, giving detailed directions. These were challenging but extremely practical. One afternoon in mid-June, Mr. Garcia called me into his office. I felt nervous. Was he going to evaluate my English already? But he had different news. "Sofia, we have a special opportunity," he said. "An important American travel blogger is visiting Madrid next week. He will write about his experience with our company. I'd like you to be his personal guide for one day, showing him our operations and some highlights of Madrid." This was a huge responsibility. The blogger's article could bring many new clients to our company. "His name is Michael Ross," Mr. Garcia continued. "He has a popular travel blog with thousands of followers. It's important that he has a good experience with us." I took a deep breath. "I will do my best," I promised. That evening, I called Dr. Martinez and explained the situation. "This is perfect timing," he said. "It's a real test of your skills before your July deadline. Let's prepare specifically for this." For the next week, we focused all our lessons on vocabulary and phrases I might need with the blogger. I researched Michael Ross online, read his previous articles, and prepared to discuss topics he seemed interested in. Local food, hidden gems, and authentic experiences rather than typical tourist attractions. When the day came to meet Michael Ross, I was nervous but prepared. He was younger than I expected, maybe in his early 30s, with a friendly smile and casual clothes. "Hi, Sofia," he said when we met at our office. "I'm excited to see Madrid through a local's eyes." We spent the day together, visiting both famous sites and lesser-known spots in Madrid. I explained our company's tours and services, answered his questions about Madrid, and even recommended my favorite local restaurants. There were a few words I didn't know, and occasionally I had to ask him to repeat something, but overall, we communicated well. At the end of the day, Michael thanked me for the tour. "Your English is excellent," he said. "I had no idea you've only been learning for 5 months. That's amazing progress." The following week, Michael published his blog post about Madrid with several positive mentions of our company and even a photo of me showing him the Royal Palace. Mr. Garcia was delighted. "Excellent work, Sofia," he said. "You've proven that your English is now good enough for client interactions. You've met the July requirement ahead of schedule." I couldn't believe it. 5.5 months after starting with almost no English, I had reached my goal. I still wasn't perfect, far from it, but I could communicate effectively with English-speaking clients. In the final 2 weeks before the official July deadline, I continued my studies with Dr. Martinez, but with less pressure and stress. We reflected on what had helped me learn so quickly. "Your consistency was key," he told me. "You practiced every single day, even when you were tired. Many people want to learn a language, but aren't willing to put in daily effort." He was right. Looking back on my journey, I realized that several factors had contributed to my rapid progress. First, I had a clear, urgent goal with real consequences. The possibility of losing my client-facing role motivated me to work hard every day. Second, I focused on practical, useful language from the beginning, words and phrases I actually needed for my job, not abstract grammar rules. Third, I created an immersive environment. I surrounded myself with English through apps, videos, podcasts, and regular conversation practice. Fourth, I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. From the beginning, Dr. Martinez encouraged me to speak, even imperfectly. Each mistake was a learning opportunity. Fifth, I found ways to practice with real English speakers through the language exchange and at work. Real conversations were more valuable than any textbook. And finally, I celebrated small victories along the way. My first conversation with tourists, handling a complaint successfully, giving directions, which kept me motivated. When July arrived, our company welcomed the first group of American tourists from our new partner agency. I confidently helped them plan their time in Madrid, recommended restaurants, and answered their questions. My English wasn't perfect, and occasionally I still needed to search for words, but I could communicate effectively. One tourist, an older gentleman from Chicago, told me, "Your English is very good. How long have you been speaking it?" I smiled proudly as I answered, "I have been learning for exactly 6 months today." He looked surprised. "Only 6 months? That's incredible. What's your secret?" I thought for a moment and replied, "No secret. Just practice every day. Don't be afraid of mistakes, and find reasons to enjoy learning." Those words summed up my journey. Today, 8 months after I began learning English, I continue to improve. I still meet with Dr. Martinez once a week, and I still attend the language exchange at Café Global. My vocabulary grows every day, and my confidence has increased dramatically. Learning English has changed my life in ways I didn't expect. Last month, Mr. Garcia promoted me to International Client Coordinator, a new position with better pay. I now work exclusively with English-speaking clients, helping them plan their perfect Spanish vacation. I've made new friends from different countries through the language exchange. I can watch English movies without subtitles, though I still miss some words. And I've even started reading simple books in English. If you're learning English now, or thinking about starting, remember this. 6 months of dedicated practice can take you from knowing almost nothing to having real conversations. The key is consistency and purpose. Practice every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. Focus on practical vocabulary you'll actually use. Don't worry about making mistakes. They're part of the process. Find opportunities to speak with real people in English, and most importantly, believe in yourself. If I could learn English in 6 months, you can too. My name is Sofia, and that was my story about how I learned English in just 6 months. Have you started your language learning journey yet? Remember, the best time to start is today. Thank you for listening to my story.